Hey Ryan, how you doing? Actually getting some flurries right now. Hey Shell. Starting to snow here and some late hail. Yeah, is it that cold there? It's like 36, so this isn't gonna stick. But hey Stephanie, how you doing? Yeah, they're limiting the amount of people up here in the store, but it hasn't kept you from going in. At least when I've been there, it hasn't. Home Depot's doing it. Walmart's doing it. Yeah, I agree. Oh, you can't drive, Stephanie? Stephanie, are you not supposed to drive because of the lockdown or what? Yeah, that's a great view right here. Please. Anytime, winter, summer, spring. Oh, okay. Well, I was looking at the numbers on YouTube. It's really slowed down across the board. I don't know whether that's because I don't know how that works when you sign up with YouTube on digital advertising, and then the businesses aren't open or they're not shipping or whatever. It's gotta. I don't know whether these people want to raise or down big time. It's really. What's the thinking on the Canadian military? Just to make sure people stay farther enough apart? Are they afraid of crime or what? Oh, it depends what changes are. I don't think social distancing is going to be permanent, and I don't think going into stores is going to be that way. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, what I do think is it's going to be quite a while before things are going to be back to what we're used to. Yeah, they had a problem with that in Chicago and other places. They ended up closing the parks because so many people were, going there. They told you to go out and do recreational things. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, it's just unsettling, like, I guess anxiety you would call it. It's just, I mean, even when you're doing okay yourself, I mean, I find myself constantly thinking about how many people have it really bad. No food, medical issues aren't really getting attended to now. It's just difficult for so many people. They're barely making it when they're working 10-hour jobs full time, and now they're getting unemployment. If I was guessing, I'd say the businesses, my guess, I hope I'm wrong, end of July. I mean, if you look at these graphs and the spikes and people that are testing positive, I mean, that came from all sorts of people out there that were positive that they weren't counted because none of them had got sick enough to go to the hospital yet. So if you look at numbers like in places like Detroit, you just get because of how it spikes so quickly. I think the numbers are just going to go up and up and up, and I don't. I think it's a ways away before we've seen any normalcy coming back to how we're used to. That's just my guess, only because I don't think they're misleading us. When we have these chats in the evening, you've always got a couple kooks on there that think this is a government conspiracy. I usually just end up blocking them because it's just so ridiculous and out there. It's like the flat Earth type theory. But if you look, I read up quite a bit. If you Google pandemic flus over the years, I mean, this isn't the first time. This is, the reason, but this one just, it's a mutation that no one was ready for. But if you look at people that have died, like the Spanish flu and stuff, this has happened before. I just think the method of contraction is so varied now compared to some of those older days, population, public transportation, that kind of thing. Oh, sorry about that, Sue. Yeah, and our school's they've been doing it on a computer at home. So it hasn't really been canceled. It's just you don't have to go to the building. How about now, Sue? Is it any better? Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't really do much, I wish I could, but I quit that Remeron. I didn't even take one last night, Sue. And sure as shit, I didn't sleep for shit. I mean, that was getting serious. Sun's trying to come out now. How you doing, Tweety? Are you working or not? Because she's over here snoring. Tweety, you still working? You're getting paid anyway? That's another thing that I can't quite figure out either. If you're working at Dairy Queen, you get to collect unemployment. And if you're a school teacher or a government worker, you're still getting your full paycheck. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I know that's not how you're supposed to do it, but it was getting to be a big problem. I mean, having a crappy night's sleep is nothing compared to where that was headed. Oh, okay, Tweety. Well, best of luck out there. I sent you an email on cruise ships today. No, I understand teachers are unionized, but I mean, there's not too many businesses that can afford to pay people when there's no money coming in. I mean, they laid the factory workers off. They're not getting paid by not showing up to work, and all sorts of other businesses. I don't think it's because it's unionized. They're getting paid. So are the prosecutors and the parole agents and everybody else. I think people that are on the channel know plenty about me. No, it's an interesting article. I sent it to your YouTube email. Yeah, you're right, Rye. Yeah, I know. I mean, up where I live, it's a seasonal business, so I mean, any business loss is going to affect them. And the busy season isn't here. There's a guy behind me that just bought the golf course, and depending on how far this goes, I mean, God, he's got to be. He's That's a short season anyway. Oh, okay, Sue. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with the cruise ships. I mean, you would think they'd be off all the ships by now. It's been long enough. Oh, really, Tweety? I didn't even know there was such a thing. Oh, you got that, Sinatra. Yeah, she was doing it last night too. I mean, she'll go weeks sometimes and not do it, and then start it up again. You know, I haven't, Liv. I haven't been watching them. No, I usually just try and catch it in a summary later by reading it. Now, RY, have they cracked down on illegals working like labor in Canada? It's been a big issue over here, of course, which you probably read about. It still happens. I'm sitting on a road that goes over I-75 in Michigan. This is actually a township hall, and it overlooks I-75, the rest stop. If you go on Google Maps, you'll see it, exit 212 in West Branch, Michigan. That's the rest area right there. Yeah, I've been all over California. Yep. Oh, so they can get temporary visas for labor, huh? Huh. Hey, Cross Up, how you doing? I used to use Guatemalans when I was breeding parrots in Florida, and you had to prove that you couldn't find suitable labor at the same dollar amount before you were able to hire someone from one of those countries. Yeah, that was beautiful. I was just up there the other day, not the island, but the city. You know, that place was just sold to some mega corporation, the Grand Hotel, and it's going to be interesting. I wonder if people are canceling their reservations there. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Yeah, I don't think they're doing that great, really. Mainly because, you know, considering the position they're in, they're having a bad time even when things are going well. But It sounds crazy to say, but drug addicts need drugs, and there's no way to make money to get the drugs. There's one of the girls, Miranda. I think you guys have looked at some of the interviews before. She just got nailed in a breaking and entering ring down around a suburb. I was told it was Southgate, Michigan. So they were breaking into houses, and I think you're probably going to see more of that shoplifting convictions and get caught doing other things, ripping off Johns. I mean, they need money. Yeah, see, that was kind of the dilemma I had when I was in Florida, Tweety. That you just can't get people to do hard labor anymore. And from what I've read, uh, picking cherries or in Michigan, any of that stuff, I know in the sugarcane farms down in Florida, that's bust ass hard work. Hey Starlight, how you doing? Yeah, there's always glimpses of people that you hope that are going to get out of the lifestyle. I mean, I think it's just default human nature that you kind of hope the best for people that you can tell are struggling. In the back of your mind, you're saying, geez, I'm glad that's not me. And Miranda, she's a sweet girl. She's got a nice sister, got a sweet uh, um, niece that emails me from time to time. Just can't get over the hump and get the hell out of there. She even said in the last time I interviewed her that she would welcome like a foster couple to take her under their her wing, under their wing, and help her change her life, move out of state. Oh, interesting, right? The argument that people complain about, and I don't know that it's valid, is that the immigrants will be taking over the skilled trades. Have you seen any suggestions that that's true? That's why they're always fighting them. But I've always said all along, at least my experience when I was hiring labor in Florida, that if it wasn't for immigrants, I would have had no help. Oh, gotcha, Sue. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting, Tweety. Huh. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, Liv, I think you're right. That's one of the big criticisms of rehab. I mean, getting out of the area that you came from. I mean, is it doesn't really sound crazy, but you got the addiction factor. But even if you're an addict, it doesn't mean that you can't meet good people that you build good friendships with. You both are in the same boat, two heroin addicts. And even if you get the addiction cured, you've lost your friends because you've been down there so long. And not all friends are bad and going to bring you back into the lifestyle, but it's just a factor that seems to make people return to rehab time after time. It's interesting to me just how slow, though, the treatment programs for addiction have come, and how there are theories on why people end up there and never get out of there, and some do and some don't. But it's just I can remember as a kid reading articles about heroin addicts in L.A. and uh, places like that, and it's like the same uh, scenario 50 years later. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? So I'm up on top of a road that crosses I-75. It's Township Hall, but it's got a perfect view. You can get an idea how much traffic there is. I usually knock out an hour or two of reading up here a day. I just sent a lady a bunch of, I was able to find some hand sanitizer, um, a mask, and some Lysol wipes, and a bottle of Lysol. She's a type 1 diabetic, lives down around Detroit, overweight, and she was really worried. She couldn't find any of this stuff anywhere, and she still needed to work full time. So I shipped it to her priority mail yesterday in one of the big flat rate boxes. And then after the guy took the box, he said, in Detroit, they're having a real problem. The postal workers are showing up for work because they don't want to touch the boxes. So I'm hoping she gets this stuff tomorrow and at the latest Saturday. Yeah, I mean, honestly, of all the travels that I've done, I would put this in my top 10 views. It's beautiful. What's nice about it is it's nothing that's created like a scenic route to get you to buy an expensive home. It's just the way it is. It's farm country, and this is just a typical road people travel from day to day. Yeah, Sue, you're right about that. But what is it with the obese that makes them at risk? Because you can be obese without, believe it or not, without blood pressure problems and without any breathing difficulties. So what is it? What's the link between being overweight and difficulties a person that isn't overweight wouldn't have? Yeah, it's a really beautiful shot. Tweety, how far would you have to drive out of where you live to see country like this? Yeah, but your immune system isn't low just based on being obese. No, I don't date, and actually, I'm still legally married, but I haven't lived with my wife in 22 years. Oh, okay, good for you. Yeah, but believe it or not, there's a lot of people that are obese that don't have diabetes. I mean, it's a risk factor, but there's a lot of people. I'm always surprised when I'm talking to someone that's grossly overweight that doesn't have diabetes. Blood pressure, high blood pressure, yeah, generally. Speaking of that, I got a friend of mine that lives in Michigan. I bet she's 200 pounds overweight, super smart, and she cannot lose weight no matter what. Afraid of the surgery, tried every diet in the world. So, this addiction deal, I mean, she could be down in Detroit as well and addicted to heroin, I guess, but it's hard to believe that you could be addicted to regular food. But she is, man. She just can't quit it. She's tried everything her whole life. Yeah, well, I thought I saw your questions. What are you asking? Yeah, that might be right too. You might be right on that too. Yeah, heart overload. It's amazing what the heart can take. Yeah, no, I know. But being overweight is considered a risk factor for diabetes. It does. More overweight people have it than people that aren't overweight. That's for sure. Yeah, it is. Yep. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? So this has put my portrait photography on hold with Marguerite. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Agent, how you doing? Yeah, it's a nice view out here. You're right, Shell. Yeah, that sleep science has really taken off in the last 20 years. No, diabetes is type 1 particularly. Being born with it, man, that sucks. There's different ways around it, but yeah, generally like a CPAP or a BiPAP. People with COPD, they have a big problem exhaling the CO2. So even if they've got oxygen and breathing it in, they can't get rid of the bad air. I hope you don't have it, Agent. I bet you don't have it, though. I think you would have got worse. You wouldn't have been able to wait this long. Yeah, it's sleep apnea. I mean, I'm not 100% into it. I've read a lot about it. It's big bucks now. It's a neurology specialty. Oh, no kidding, Tweety. No, never did. No, I never did. No, I never did. No, I mean, I drink, but I never had a problem with it. Never tried drugs. Never tried smoking. I don't know why either, because both my parents were boozers and pill poppers. And I have a sister. She's the same way. It's weird. And then there were two stillborn kids. Who knows? Maybe they were going to be the drug addicts of the family. Oh, good. You don't have it. Tweety, do you remember crossing paths with any of these people? Oh, good. Good for you. You know, I'm kind of pictured. I do like going down and photographing the Amish stuff, but, I'm kind of like running out of stuff to do on YouTube. Yeah, Liv, you're exactly right. It's just funny how that works out, I mean, it's human behavior, which is interesting. I mean, how does one person sit down and just dream of backpacking in Paraguay and they've never been there? And another person is just as happy to spend a long weekend in Toledo, Ohio. It's weird how, things start as thoughts and then evolve into actual actions. All right, have a good day over there. Yeah, I never did. I didn't even drink my first beer, I don't think, till I was like 24 or something. I think not last night. I think I'm not going to even drink casually anymore. I think I'm going to give that up for a while. I don't get drunk or anything, but I do drink probably 4, 5 times. Have a glass of wine or a couple shots of whiskey. I'm going to quit doing that. Genetic definitely plays a part of it. Yeah. Although when you look at the links on, if it's genetic though, then how come I'm not that way? My sister and my parents were. I mean, it's not super definitive. It's more or less a theory than it is a fact. You know, there's a lady, Mari, that comes on at night that's half American Indian. She's very interesting to talk to. She's a full time nurse. And we briefly touched on alcohol consumption in Indians, and she said it's really super complicated. I know one of the theories that I've read time and time again is that the theory is that the Indians were exposed to alcohol much later than, let's say, the white man was, and that over years and years and years they haven't built up the same tolerance. It sounds like a crock of shit to me, but that's what they said. Yeah, so I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep. All right, Ray, take care. Yeah, I would never do that, Liv. No, it would just bore me to tears to do it that way. No, I would not do it. I mean, this is just a hobby, you know. I'm just screwing around, really. And then the notion of trying to pretend that it's like a legitimate production would be pure fraud. Yeah, and you know, it's how genes express themselves. I mean, you can have two identical twins, which means they have the exact same DNA in the same environment. One gets breast cancer and one doesn't, or one gets lung cancer and one doesn't, and neither of them smoked. So it's gene expression, which is complicated. Yeah, I mean, I like doing it too. I mean, you know, I mean, it's pretty obvious that if it wasn't for interviews with uh, the people I interview in Detroit, I probably wouldn't even have a channel. I mean, at least one that people ever looked up with. You know, they'd pass them right by. I mean, I do the Amish thing and the wildlife, and it's because it interests me. But it's not going to get you any successful YouTube channel. But as you've probably know, I'm not really into like subscribers and views and likes and thumbs up and all that. I never mention it. I mean, it's great if people like the same things I do. I think they're smart enough to ascertain if they want to watch them or not. I don't need to constantly. I mean, they're there if they want to watch them, and if they don't want to watch them, that's okay too. I'm never going to like take this fun hobby and try and morph it into a legitimate production. Oh, Asian, yeah, that is very interesting. There are some. I took a couple online courses from MIT, but they were so dummied down that I ended up not signing up for anymore. If you can take, you know, courses where you can generally get up to the level of the course that they teach of full-time paying students, it'd be great. But I've noticed that these online things are more of like a moniker on an advertisement. How great we are! Look, we're giving these free online classes, but they're not the kind of classes that would get you anywhere as a traditional degree would. Yeah, no, I'm going to hit the road this summer and interview people wherever I go. I'm going to head out. I haven't been out west in a while. I used to take like 10 and 15,000 mile road trips constantly. If YouTube would have been around 30 years ago, I would have like a million videos up, I bet you. And in my aviation days, when I was doing a lot of flying, skydiving, all that stuff, I would have had all this GoPro stuff. Yeah, I'll have to check out Yale's. I mean, I've looked at Harvard's. Like as I said, I took some MIT. I still think though that if you really want to get some good data and really learn something, I still haven't found online courses as good as what you could get out of good books. It's so funny how, you know, you can get to A to B in learning something. I watched for some crazy reason a lot of lectures from neurosurgeons. And here I'll have an interview of, let's say, Marguerite that'll get 20,000 views. And you'll have some educated neurosurgeon giving a lecture on, you know, some pediatric procedure that they've just tried in the last year. They'll have like 10 views and the video's been up for years. It just shows you how what people find entertaining. It's 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 interesting to me. I'm not surprised. I mean, look at the Kardashians for God's sakes. Yeah, usually with me up here, the homeless is pretty much Detroit and maybe Flint. Uh, yeah, I just as I said all along, I'd hope that I could help these people more, but the real reason was to go there, interview them, and get their take on things. And I don't know what happened there. Oh, mitochondrial disorder. That's interesting. How long did it take for you to get that diagnosed? Cell division. Oh yeah, I'm gonna check that out, agent. That's interesting. It's 175 miles from here. Where do you live? Where are you living now, Liv? Where do you live? Huh. Yeah, it's all right. It sucks, but it could be a lot worse, believe me. Oh, that's autism. It's another thing too. I have a buddy of mine's a doctor that has an autistic son, and not knowing much about it, uh, you know, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm just using this as an example. Take a Down syndrome child. It's pretty obvious. Meets a strict criteria. You know to expect if that's the diagnosis and you meet someone down the road, what a Down syndrome child's going to be like. Now they do have levels of severity, how functioning they are, that kind of thing. But with autism, I'm a little bit confused because, I've seen kids like from A to Z, and maybe that's just the canned answer that the parent gives. But I've noticed in the last few years, parents will mention that my child is on the spectrum, and they don't say that their child's autistic. So there seems to be like a huge range of like certain behaviors that I've noticed in the last couple of years are not identifying as autism anymore. Does this ring any bells with you? Oh, Huntington Beach. Okay. But when you look at what spectrum are they talking about? That I guess that's what I'm getting at. What spectrum do they mean? Like, is it like Down syndrome where you're on the low end of the spectrum, the medium, the high? Employment is possible. I mean, I don't quite get the nomenclature in this terminology and what it really means. If you've got 20 kids and you say they're all on the spectrum, I still don't know what you're talking about. You see what I'm getting at? Oh, okay, Tweety. Okay. Yeah, it's getting nicer though. It was certainly nicer than it was 20 minutes ago when I first came on. Yeah, it's confusing to me. And if you don't, if someone's not in your life that has it, I mean, you just, you learn a little bit about it, and I guess I was kind of influenced by Rain Man, movies like that. Okay, Agent. Okay. Yeah, cognitive. Yeah, it's not. It's getting nice. Yeah. This is the kind of day where sitting here and looking outside seems. It's a nice day. You get outside, you freeze your ass off and get pneumonia in 20 minutes. Yeah, man. I just got a book in the mail. I ordered so many books I didn't even remember ordering this one. It's the weather changes around the Great Lakes region in the last 20 years. I mention this all the time, and if you've looked at the Lake Huron videos, Point Tawa State Park, these are record water levels, and they're expected to peak a month from now. If that happens, that little strip of land that I showed you last week probably doesn't mean anything to you guys if you're not from Michigan. That's going to be a huge issue over there because that lagoon is going to become part of the lake, and that comes right up around the beach house. I mean, that beach house is going to look like an island any day. Yeah, they're struggling down there big time, Christian. Oh, yes, it's interesting, huh? Yeah, like my buddy's son. I mean, I don't know sometimes if I'm impressed because I'm expecting most of what he has to say to not make sense. They'll say, well, this kid's got autism. And before you know it, people say he's a genius with regard to being a card counter in Las Vegas, but he can't hold a job. So in this particular instance, I mean, this kid got a certificate, diploma through high school, and he's 19 now, and he still thinks he's gonna go to college. And I'm wondering if that's ever going to be a possibility. It would seem to me, on the little I know, that by 19, what you're going to get is already there. I don't. I mean, there's a long way from I think where he's at to studying and passing a college course. Hey, Linda, how you doing? What's that, Tweety? Check on what? What's that, Tweet? Oh, okay. Nah, I never have any holiday plans. None of them. One day's the same as the other to me. Yeah, now the house is going to stay there. There's a big concrete steel structured wall. If you're talking about that little house, that looks a lot worse than it is. Really, the water's only about a foot and a half, 2 feet deep there, although it looks like the Poseidon Adventure. I'm talking about that big structure that you walk up to before you walk out to the beach. They've already lost like 60 feet of their beach. They used to have two big aluminum gangplanks that kind of walked from the house out to Lake Huron. They're not even there anymore. The water's about 5 feet from the building. Next time I go out there, I'll take a better video on the right. What's going to happen is the water, once that little strip of sand gets washed away, the water's going to go past the building and to the right, right up to the parking lot. I mean, it's going to ruin the place. It's already devastated. And now they're saying last night in the news that these lake levels aren't going to peak for a month. It's got to be game over. All right, Agent. Hey, great. Thanks for the great description. Appreciate that. As always, good having you here. So, what are you going to do today? Yeah, try and get on tonight if you can. Tweety, have you noticed the YouTube number's been in the tank? Big time. Yeah, there's no traffic, that's for sure, Jim. Yeah. Hey, Kristen. Tweety, you still there? Tweety, you there? Sorry about that. Yeah, it's been, don't feel bad. Everybody I've talked to, the same thing. Tweety, I don't know if you know anything about this, but I'm wondering, there's been a lot of glitches with YouTube too. I can't, I got a bunch of people blocked, and we were going to unblock everybody, like I've done in the past, and have a free for all open chat. I can't unblock anybody. When I do, they come back up, and when I go to save something, it looks like I saved them, and then they're all there again. That's the first thing. But back to numbers on YouTube, me too, and everybody I know. No, yeah, mine did too. Mine did too. So did everybody I know. So don't feel bad. I'm wondering if it's because they're suspending digital advertising people are paying for. Because if businesses aren't open and they can't ship, why pay, Google to do digital advertising? I think it's linked to that. My recommended videos is went in the tank, views, everything. Unblock because, well, here's what happens is there's a lot of haters out there, right? And during the midst of moderating a channel, there are other people like Tweety that are moderators that can come on and take nasty comments off when they happen to get up at 3 in the morning and scroll through the things. And sometimes people get blocked accidentally. So, I'm open to talking to anybody about anything. And if they want to confront me on a chat, I'm willing to answer their questions. And I found that when I have an open chat and even my enemies come on, they don't have enough guts to discuss with me on an online chat because they realize I'm going to be able to answer their nonsense. So that's the real reason for doing it. Yeah, I'm just guessing, Tweety, but I think if you had a contract with Google and you were selling widgets and you laid off everybody, why have your marketing show up when you couldn't even send the item somebody wanted to order? Yeah, mine too. Yep. But I've noticed that in a lot of the settings, it almost seems like it has a virus. But I've used separate computers, different. I've used my phone. It's the same problem. That Google Studio can't go back to that function on the old kind. Well, normally I don't, but like I said, people get blocked accidentally along the way. And this stupid list that when you block people, it's not chronological or alphabetized. So if I've got like 8,500 people blocked, and somebody says, "Hey, I think you blocked me accidentally," it just takes forever to go through that list to try to find them. Yeah, I've got one sister, 80 years old. Hey, Jackie, how are you? How you feeling? Hey, Sue, you still there? No, the wind's kind of. Oh, good. Now the wind's kind of subsiding. Beautiful view over here, though. Looks like Florida clouds. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have Instagram, but I never use it. Yeah, so I'm definitely not taking that run anymore for reasons that you know. I was really in a bad way. I have Facebook too, and I never use that. I think I've got like 1,000 requests I've never even opened. In Instagram, I thought I was gonna like it, but it was just people driving me nuts. And I got suckered into I think it's the professional Instagram, so you can't delete it or hide it or something. It's just a nightmare. Hey, Tweety, did you see Ollie canceled her channel? No, I mean, too, I underexplained it on the internet, in our chat that this was not looking good. Yeah, you're probably right. A lot of haters. You got that right. Yeah, you knew Ollie had a channel. It was Anchor of Hope. It is great for sleep, but if I had to guess, I think I could have had that toxic level of serotonin. I fit the profile of it, even though I wasn't taking much. But it's such a pain in the ass nightmare to go any. You can't even go anywhere around here and get tested. So I was just kind of now, if you're lucky enough to get the medication, you're on your own as far as titration, especially where I live. And it was so much better than before. Yeah, yep, yep. Well, it was so better than the alternative when I was prescribed it. It was so nice to be able to sleep. And this other side of it just kind of crept up. I thought of it before. The funny thing about it is, when you read side effects, even if you go on there now and look at them, if there were 100 side effects for that medication, that thing is 99. It doesn't even come up in the top 25 on a lot of the searches. It's not even mentioned. That's why I never put two and two together until, crazy as it sounds, changing this garbage disposal. That was like pinnacle of craziness. No, I'm not weaning off. I probably should, but I had like such a bad day yesterday that I'm gonna skip the weaning off. I mean, it scared me. And I'm not taking much to begin with. Half of the smallest pill. No, nope. So I just got, and I'm gonna not drink alcohol for a while either. No, yeah, you're right, Sue. Yep. I got to finish that off today because I got a different model in the plug. But I give myself enough brains and having enough sense for not trying to finish that job off yesterday. I mean, you'd have been better off giving it to an 8-year-old, giving him a pipe wrench. Hey, Stacy, how you doing? I mean, that's when you know you're going off the deep end when you can't even do a simple plumbing job. Yeah, I took trazodone. It made me real lethargic and sleepy. I'm hoping I'm going to start working out again. Yeah, you're right, Kristen. Yep. Hey, Stacy. It's just taking this medication. It was helping me for a long time, but it just seemed to like started working against me, like aggressive and just getting crazy over little things and just not accomplishing anything. But as bad as that sounds, it was so much better than how I was before I got on it. So sleeping is very attractive, and I couldn't sleep for about 10 years. So I'm reluctant to quit something that helped me sleep. It's got to be my waking hours were almost worse than not being able to sleep. And sure enough, I didn't take it last night and had a shitty night's sleep. Yeah, running's bad age that ran all the time to stay in shape. They've had knee replacements already, hip problems. It's not normal for a human to run all those years. Yeah, I think it was, linked to depression. Yeah. But I think I'll be fine if I I get it. I get back into my working out, and you know how it is. Like I've been through this before. Yeah, Kristen, that's exactly why I didn't want to like quit doing it. But it just got to be I was like so agitated. You probably noticed it on the chats, just like snapping at people. I mean, I'm looking at it as not putting up with any bullshit or listening to the haters during a chat, but I probably overdid it a few times. Yeah, Sue, I just, after all these years of not having an interest in that, I'm just so reluctant to like do it. I'm going to try to just not doing anything for a while. Yeah, I'm in West Branch, yep. Oh, you're talking about Town Club? Yeah, business sales are up, yep. You're talking about the guy that owns Town Club, I think. Yeah, thanks, Kristen, yeah. I think on the weight gain, that probably can happen, but you know, you just have to be conscious about it. You know, if your brain's telling you to eat a whole Marie Callender's apple pie, you know what's going to happen if you do that. So, I mean, ultimately, your hand has to put that food in your mouth. And if you're conscious of that, you're not going to gain weight. It's not like by taking a pill, you automatically go up 3 inches in waist size by virtue of being on Remeron. It's not like you flip the switch and there's the weight. Weight goes up because it stimulates your appetite. You know, it's that part of the brain that regulates food and all that other stuff. And for whatever reason, that damn drug makes you want to seem like you're hungry all the time. Yeah, best of luck. That's I'd rather have than anything. Good luck. I'd rather have it than a good medication, good job, anything else. Good luck's the way to go. I don't really have a doctor. I've tried all that stuff. I'm gonna go the bare bones route. I don't eat it too much. I'm not a big sweets guy. Yeah, Daisy's sleeping down here. Hey Pam, how you doing? Yeah, locally I found that you can eat quite a bit of regular food. It's that insulin blood sugar level that makes you get big by sweets that's the worst. If you look at most overweight people, it's sweets what gets them. And you can't eat stuff like fries and a lot of bread and that kind of stuff. Luckily, I don't like that stuff that much, so it's not a problem. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of on the trying to get on the right track. When I'm in this kind of mood, it's like the pleasure part of my brain goes on hold. I'll probably for the next couple of weeks or so be eating canned soup and salads. You know, I don't really feel like everything's not great, so you know, it's like I don't think, wow, I'd like a big steak. You know, things are a little bit in turmoil now, so it's basically just eating to survive as opposed to enjoying some good cuisine. Oh, perch, that's good. What kind? Which one? Which perch? Yeah, Daisy's a good dog. Which medication's that, Jackie? I was even gonna get a decaf coffee this morning, but and I know why. Nobody drinks it. Yeah, you're probably right, Christy. You're probably right about that. Yeah, I mean, I'm cursing out a garbage disposal like it broke into my house and started to beat me up. Just a metal and plastic piece of equipment. And peanut oil, it doesn't really matter. No, I never percolated decaf. I have not. No. I have lots of decaf tea, which I basically have to force myself to drink. Oh yeah, I've taken everything. Yeah, I've taken everything. I'll have to check out the Seroquel. You know, when I get in these non-sleeping modes, I would describe it as feeling like I drank like 2 pots of coffee before I went to bed. Tired, but can't fall asleep. That's how last night was. So last night I just read a couple chapters out of a Muammar Gaddafi book. Yeah, I know, Sue. Lexapro didn't work with me. No, it didn't. I took that a long time ago. I've tried them all. Lexapro, all the old ones, Wellbutrin, Paxil, Prozac, Trazodone, uh, you name it. Yeah, I've always usually been a workout in my whole life. But I quit working out like last August and haven't worked out since. Just didn't feel like it. I burnt myself out, I think, going to Detroit too much. Therapy is great when you're 20 and you don't know anything. They can put you in a bathtub and rebirth you. But I don't think therapy do me too much good. I think it's all biochemical. Yeah, I don't think I'm psychotic, not yet. Get back with me on that. Yeah, there's some pretty good studies that they highly recommend to not take that off label for sleep. Yeah, I mean that can work when you're young and you don't know anything. That's one. I mean, I do think I'm better now than I was when I was younger. But I mean, there's a certain point where you got so many life experiences. You know that holding hands with a gay figure skater and a lesbian on a skateboard that hasn't shaved her legs in 3 weeks, that it's not going to take me to a better place. We're all going to sit and do Tai Chi together. It's just not my personality. I mean, I think you can probably talk through things, but I've been there, done that. I think mine's all chemical. Yeah, I took Zoloft too. When I'm in like my regular groove, you know, I got too much time to sit around and like be non-functional with this bullshit going on. Orthopedic surgeon that used to travel with my wife. They'd go to Europe and stuff a lot. She'd write a prescription. Well, remember when Fen was killing all these people losing weight? No, I have no schedule, none. I could take a clock and just throw it out. No, nope, I don't. When you're not working, just dead around like I am. I mean, what a schedule doesn't do me any good. I mean, I don't need one. I've never had structure anything for like my whole life. Yeah, I believe it, Kristen. Yeah. I mean, if I was going to place a bet, I'd say that this medication is medicinal and provides more good than bad. But it got to the point where, with me, where it was like 50-50, and then it was more bad than good, so why take it? It isn't like I have a plan B. Oh, yeah, it's hard to say, Jackie. Yeah. You feeling better now, right? So you can see that rain coming in out of the west. Yeah, low dose, yeah. Yeah, Starlight, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that structure wouldn't be a bad thing, but or wouldn't be a good thing. I don't know. I just don't. If I look at it, I don't know what advantages there'd be. Yeah, maybe true. That's like that cognitive-based therapy, Tweety. All right, Sue, good talking to you. Try and make it on tonight. Yeah, now you're talking. You be my therapist. All right, Liv, take care. Yep. Try tonight, 9 o'clock. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sign off today. I'll try and sign off. I'll be on tonight at 9, you guys. You guys have a good day today. Thanks a lot. Yeah, good, Kristen. All right, Pam. Yep, take care. See you at 9, hopefully. Hey, Tweety, are you gonna try and make it to the chat? Tweety? Try and make it to the chat, Tweety. All right, Starlight. I just put your wrench back. I don't know how that came off. Hey, Daniel, have a good day. All right, Martin, you take care as well. Tweety, say something so I'll make sure it's on. Don't worry about your dwindling numbers. Misery loves company. I'm right there next to you. You guys have a good day today. Alrighty. Goodbye. See you, Bob.